That rather Cavalier. That's rather Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. Bringing it to you live right now with my boy Take Boy Fresh on YouTube. Hey, but before we get into the show, we'd like to ask all of us who's out there listening in podcast realm, listening out there in that virtual realm, please like and subscribe and listen to the audio podcast that's being played for That's Rather Cavaliers on Fan First Sports Network across all the sites: Stitcher, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast, and you know how we do it with the Spotify. So That's Rather Cavaliers, getting it in with my boy Tate, and please give us a 5-star rating. And listen to the Know-It-Alls, because we're bringing you That's Rather Cavaliers live here on the Know-It-Alls channel. Tate, we're going to chop it up and get it in for the pod and do it this evening talking about the Cavs. And our subject and our topic is a very popular one. It's that guy, Donavan Mitchell. So before we talk about him and we chop it up a little bit, I got to give my boy T-Boy Fresh an opportunity to get his intro. So what's up, Tate? What's crack-a-lackin'?
Hey, Afton, thanks for joining us again. I don't know if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, but we traded OG Abaji. He's a Kansas dude, not Kansas State, but, something. But, yeah, Big G, so what we doing here, man, it's all season. The Cavs got smoked. I think we thought they would be in the second round right now.
Yeah.
But they're not, because they got smoked, like I said. But what we're doing is creating content for the offseason. So one of our initiatives is to break down each player on the roster individually.
Yes, sir.
Each episode of a player will be an episode. And so why not talk about the probably first team on NBA, you think, Big G?
Yeah.
Probably. At the very least, second team.
Yeah.
He got 6 in MVP voting.
Yeah.
He's tied for 10th in PI efficiency, player impact of estimate.
Yes, sir.
Tied with Seth Curry for 10th place in that. And I just give you the list. You got Joker at the top. These are the guys in it: Joker, Jimmy Butler, Devin Booker, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Jamal Murray, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donovan Mitchell. So
that's a heck of a list, Tate. That's a heck of a list.
If you want a definition for player impact estimate, it is a player that achieves more than 10% is likely to be better than the average player. A high percentage is highly correlated to winning.
Right. So that means you got to be out there getting it.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we saying, so Mitchell, they said 10% is good. Joker, typically the MVP, is at 19%, 19.6%. Yeah. But you know what, man? I'm thinking that these are just playoff numbers, because I don't see Giannis.
Yeah. Who should be like number 1 or 2 every time. Yeah.
This has to be current playoff, because all these teams are still in the playoffs. Yeah. Well, not Donovan is tied with Steph Mitchell for regular season. So, yeah. But anyway, that's what player impact estimate is. So we're going to break down Donovan Mitchell today. We're going to talk about his 2022-2023 season. First, let's get into the trade, Big G.
Yeah.
The trade happened the 1st of September.
Correct. Late, but the trade went down, and it influenced me becoming a Cav too. So, yeah, go ahead, Tate.
So, Donovan Mitchell was traded from the Utah Jazz to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Correct.
For Lauri Markkanen.
Wow.
Who won Most Improved Player.
Yeah.
Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
OG Abaji, who I was just talking to Afton about.
Yeah.
The All-American from Kansas, led Kansas to a national championship. And like three first-round picks and a pick swap.
Correct.
So they gave the mother load for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
So the question we have to ask here, and I ask you, Big G, you tell me your thoughts. I think we had contrasting opinions on this, perhaps, but maybe you came around. Do you think the trade was worth it?
Tate, we've talked about this off screen, man, and we've talked about this on the pod. We didn't go into depth, but I got mixed emotions about the trade that we made for Mitchell. You know, he's still a relatively young player. He's definitely what we've said, first team All-NBA. There's no doubt about it. But in the long haul, my emotions are mixed up because the issue is it appeared obvious that Mitchell had playoff envy or roster envy when he was playing against the New York Knicks in the playoffs. It's like he wanted to be in New York so bad. And when it came time for him to perform for the Cavs, he didn't. His regular season numbers look good. And he looked good maybe one playoff game. But the Donovan Mitchell that we know handles his business in the playoffs. And I didn't see that happening. So then I look across the way and I'm like, yeah, Utah didn't make it. But do they have a nucleus and a core of young fellas that in this last playoff series,
hey, man, you see Claude's comment?
Yeah. Hey, Claude, I said Lakers are 6.
You did say
tripping.
that.
I said Lakers are 6, so I'm with you.
Hey, Claude, was Lakers your team when LeBron wasn't there, or were you with Cleveland then?
Nah, he wasn't with him.
That's for the audio listeners. That's Claude, one of our live chat listeners.
Yeah, for
He's
sure.
giving us a hard time like he always does.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, I agree with you, Big G. He didn't. I think maybe it's because they were playing the New York Knicks, and that was potentially the team he thought he would be traded to. New York was messing around. Kobe Altman. Speaking of which, Kobe Altman got second in general manager of the year.
Yes, he did. Outstanding job.
I think that's deserving for the team he put together. Now we got to see if it's deserving going into this offseason.
Yeah.
Because I believe some changes need to be made. But yeah, Donovan Mitchell before this year, his playoff scoring average had gone up every year.
Every year. What's up, Timmy? What's happening?
So this year, his season numbers were 28.3, 4.3 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and again, the pie ranking 14.9, which 10 is very good. So that's why he was sixth in the MVP voting.
Yeah.
But Donovan Mitchell was one of the last lottery pick. He was picked 13 for Utah in 2017. So I think you can work. You can do more than work with Donovan Mitchell. It's what you put around Donovan Mitchell. So Big G, do you think Donovan Mitchell can be the best player on a championship team?
Can I give it a ranking between 10 being the best and 1 being the worst? Can I do it that way?
It seems like a yes/no question. Now you trying to walk along the fence, but go ahead.
You got to walk on water when it comes to the Cavs, baby. Don't get it twisted. I give him about a 6 or 6.5 to be the best player on the championship team. Because I look at comparisons of other players who have championship pedigree, and does he match? So I'm looking like, okay, does he match the skill set and the player and the versatility of a Giannis? Does he match it with a Joker? Does he match it with an Embiid? Does he match it with an Anthony Davis? Does he match it with a Steph Curry?
Those are all bigs, except you just said Steph Curry.
I'm not done. Does he match it with a Brunson? Does he match it with a Jimmy
Of course,
Bucket?
he matches with Brunson.
Does he match it with a Jason Tatum?
He doesn't have the Jimmy Bucket mentality.
Okay.
Jimmy Bucket has been there. He matches Brunson. Brunson's having a good run. Brunson is not the elite player that Donovan Mitchell is. Now Brunson got the best of him this series. I got to give him that. But I don't think Brunson's that guy. Brunson ain't leading nobody no championship.
I don't know, Tay.
The Knicks need another player.
I don't know. It ain't
a big name player.
Yeah. But
there
goes the answer,
So you comparing Donovan Mitchell to guys, you should be comparing Donovan Mitchell to guys like Damian Lillard, Devin Booker,
okay,
Luka,
okay,
Trae Young.
Okay.
I'd probably rather have Donovan Mitchell than any of those guys, including Luka.
Nah, I'm not putting him in front of Booker. That's just me personally. I like Booker I'm not putting him in front of Booker. I'm not putting him in front of Steph. I'm not putting him in front of Jason Tatum. I can't do it.
Well, because Jason Tatum and Booker have been in championships, but those guys kind of choke in the playoffs too.
Who?
Tatum and Jaylen Brown's up 2-1 last year. Cold folded. Turned the ball over 85 times in one game.
Yeah, but they made it to the chip. And, that's the question.
Devin Booker up 2-0. Let Giannis walk him down.
I get it, but they made it to the chip. That matters. That's a difference.
That matters. You're right.
And as long as Donovan has been in the league, how far is Donovan made it to the Western Conference?
Let me address the great one's comment. Luka is better than Donovan Mitchell, but you tell me who's a better teammate. How come the Dallas Mavericks fold every year? They cold fold. Luka can't play with Porzingis. Luka can't play with Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Luka can't play with Kyrie. I mean, you tell me what Luka gonna do.
Can I tell you what Luka's gonna do?
Tell me.
Trash. That's what he's gonna do. Luka cannot be the best player on a championship pedigree team. He can't even play with other great players. And I've been screaming that forever. So I would take Donovan Mitchell over Luka all day and night.
Yeah, but individually, Luka's the better player. Should we get Harrison Barnes with the mid-level exception? I like Harrison Barnes. I would rather go younger. Honestly, I wouldn't mind Kelly Oubre. That's on BP. Our other co-host who's not here right now.
Oh yeah,
has been saying. I like Dylan Brooks.
Man, Tate, I promise you I was going to ask you that question. What would be a guy that you need to pair up?
Thanks, great one.
What would be a guy you need to pair up with Donovan Mitchell to help him push over? And Dylan Brooks is perfect to me.
No, well, he's not the shooter. The Cavs need shooting. But I think more than shooting, not bring Kyrie back. I think more than shooting, they need an injection of that dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Dylan Brooks can bring that. He can play defense. He can be the tough guy. He can be the guy that gets in people's faces. He can be what Josh Hart is to the Knicks right now.
Exactly.
Josh Hart's not a great shooter, but Josh Hart is a huge factor for the New York Knicks right now.
Exactly. He keeps the guys at bay from picking with Brunson.
I like a guy like that. Like I said, he doesn't bring the shooting. His best, I think he shot 30% last year. His best year, I think 35% in his 4 or 5 year career. So he can get better. He's capable. Yeah. But I mean, I think if they got Dylan Brooks, put him at the 3, allow Okoro to slide back to the 2 with Darius Garland, with Donovan Mitchell. I guess Okoro would have to come off the bench. But put Dylan Brooks at the 3 with Mitchell and Garland and Mobley and Allen.
Okay.
And then you start with Mobley and Allen, but you don't play them long. Then you start interchanging them throughout the game, like one backing up the other. You play them at the beginning and you play them at the end.
So you go interchangeable 4 and 5, and then swing.
Yeah. Because Mobley can be the backup center, and then and provided Mobley takes another jump after his second year, going to his third year, puts on 10 or 15 more pounds, gets his 3-point percentage up from 18% to about 30% if he can. That's a big jump, but I think he's capable. He has the form. So then you bring in Karis LeVert off the bench. You bring in Okoro off the bench.
Yeah.
So your bench gets better right there because you insert Dylan Brooks to the starting lineup.
For sure.
I think maybe we gotta get off Chetty, but I think that's the way to go, man. I mean, as far as the mid-level exception, Dylan Brooks sound crazy. Ask me, think you want to get $25 million? He's doing something, Big G. I don't know what it is. If you think he's getting $25 million.
No, he's not. He's not going to get nowhere close to $25 million. But is he a serviceable player that can help the Cavs? Yes.
Yeah, I agree. So, but this is about Donovan Mitchell. So, go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this question, Tate. Let me swing it this way. Is Jared Allen a poor man's version of the big man that Donovan played with in Utah that now is playing in Minnesota? Because will he need a different big or a better big to pair up with him to push him over the top? Because it seems like to me that Allen sort of fits the pedigree of big boy that he played with in Utah that's now in Minnesota.
After talking about your hats again, man, you always change it up.
Hey, for sure, Afton. Thank you for the support. Yeah, all right, but that's my
He
question,
don't he don't change up them dumb signs after. But yeah, man. Well, you talking about Rudy Gobert?
Correct.
And Rudy Gobert is a defensive first center.
Okay.
He's a shot blocker. He's a big. He rebounds. Jared Allen didn't give us a rebound against the Knicks.
Correct.
He was kind of. I mean, Rudy Gobert does dumb stuff like fighting his teammate, but at least he shows passion and energy. I don't get that from Jared Allen.
Correct.
So I think when the Cavs are ultimately at their best, and it might not be this year coming up, might be the year after, Evan Mobley's a center. Evan Mobley goes from weighing 215 to weighing 235.
Yeah.
He starts to put on his grown man muzzle because he'll be 22 in June.
You're still a baby, 21 years old. Still
21
a baby.
years old. So
yeah.
we see how it took Giannis like 4 or 5 years to get the weight and definition that he has now. Look at old pictures of Giannis when he first got drafted.
Skinty. Not skinny.
The word.
Skinty. Not skinny. Skinty.
So the Cavs will be at their best when Evan Mobley's the best player. Darius Garland has a little more experience. Donovan Mitchell decides to sign and stay. Those will be your core three. And you put people around that. Jared Allen will be trade bait after next season, I think. Let him play himself into some decent trade bait. I mean, he's on the books for $20 million a year. We'll have 2 years left after next year.
Yeah.
So I think the Cavs will be at their absolute best when Evan Mobley's a center. And then you back him up with his brother, who's versatile. You can plug his brother in at the 4-5-2. He can block shots. He can pass. He can shoot.
Yeah.
It opens everything up. I mean, Jared Allen is part of our identity now. That defensive culture. What they say, that dog mentality, even though I didn't see any dog against the Knicks. But I think ultimately the Cavs are at their best when Mobley is at the 5.
Got you. So next question, just to ask. Does Mitchell have the dog in him? Does he have the dog in him? Because we're talking about Donovan Mitchell. Does he got the dog in him, Tate?
You're right. I mean, I don't know if he has a dog like you watch Dame Lillard. Killer.
Yeah.
Killer.
Without a doubt. Assassin.
Yeah.
Straight up assassin. Yeah.
So I don't know if he has that level of dog mentality, but he's aggressive on the court. You see he uses athleticism, how he snatches rebounds, how he can play defense, how he hunts shots. He's a shot hunter.
Yeah.
And you got to have some type of dog in you to keep hunting shots at all times.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I mean, the ultimate shot hunter, the ultimate dog mentality in the NBA from a star player in the last 15 years, one Kobe Bean Bryant.
The GOAT when it comes to dog hunting, outside of MJ, for sure.
Yeah, so, I mean, Donovan Mitchell's somewhere in the middle. Like I said, he's not Dame Lillard. He's not Jimmy Butler. He's not finna come down trying to take the game over in the clutch. I mean, because like the Knicks was jumping them in the last playoff series, and he was giving up the ball. I mean, you got to give up the ball, but then you got to relocate yourself, get the ball back.
Right.
There are ways to beat that defense, and he didn't find the answers this series. Cavs didn't help him much.
Yeah.
I mean, but I like Donovan Mitchell. I think he can be the best player on the championship team. What we need is see what Jared Allen does this year. I'm not suggesting we get him this year. See what he does next year.
Yeah.
And Mobley and Garland take another leap.
Yeah. And in all fairness with Mitchell, the trade was in September. I mean, so he gets a full off season to gel with his guys.
I agree.
Which is a huge factor as far as being a good player in the NBA and being a leader of men, because that's what we're talking about. Leader of men for a chip. So, it's maybe a little unfair to judge him early,
Yeah, no, I certainly agree. I mean, just by fact that he's sixth place in MVP voting, probably going to be one of the first team or second team All-Pro.
Yeah.
I mean, that speaks for itself. He's one of the best players in the league.
Yeah.
So if you're one of those guys, you can be the best player on a championship team. They just need some adjustments. And on the clock for next year, if Kobe Altman's gonna compete again to be the executive of the year, he got second place this year. You got to put JB and Jared Allen on the clock.
Yeah, without a doubt, Tate. Without a doubt. 100%.
I agree with Great One. Mobley is going to improve. In the next 2 or 3 years, Mobley going to be a top 10 player.
Yeah, I agree. But they are on the clock. And Tate, just to ask this little last piece so we can tie it up with a bow before we get to our parting shots and talking about the what's going on in the NBA. Is Mitchell on the clock for trade bait with the Cleveland Cavaliers based on the contract and what he's got going on? So if he doesn't show us this next year, what do we do?
I think Mitchell is on the clock. I mean, I think he'll show us. He'll come out and play and probably be equal, if not better than he was this past season. But he's on the clock. The Cavs are on the clock more than Mitchell.
Wow.
Because the Cavs are trying to keep Mitchell in the fold.
Yeah.
Mitchell has 3 years left, 2 years next year and the year after, and the third year is player option. He can opt out. And why wouldn't he opt out? He's going to get a raise if he opts out. Now, will New York have done something between now and then? And maybe they compete and they don't want to mess up their thing with Brunson and R.J. Barrett and Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart and those guys.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he don't get to go where he want to go, so he decided to stay in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But Cleveland needs to prove to Donovan Mitchell that we making moves to try and get you to a conference championship at minimum. He never got the one in Utah. This was his 5th year. He didn't get the one in Cleveland. We thought he was going second round. Didn't happen. But I think Cleveland's on the clock. But Cleveland's on the clock because of the structure of his contract.
Yeah.
Being 2 years left with a third-year player option.
Yeah.
He can opt out and go wherever he wants. So Cleveland, after this year, if they don't do nothing, they have to consider trading Donovan Mitchell, man. Because you don't want to let him leave and you give all the assets to get him.
Yes.
So if he has a good year, if he's kind of cold feet on committing or saying I want to be here or something, he's not gonna sign a contract because he wants to opt out and get a bigger deal.
Yeah.
But you got a voice to the Cavs that I like the direction we're going. We made it to a conference final, something like that. You got to show him that way, and I think that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, and this is my thinking. So if we're saying that Mitchell can be one of the best guys and best players on a championship team, I think the Cavs got to go big game hunting, and that might cause us to lose a piece or two that we're talking about. If I had to choose between the youngsters, I would definitely want to keep Mobley. But if I can go big game hunting and bring a big-time player into Cleveland to pair him next to Donovan Mitchell, so be it. Because I'm ring hunting.
Who's that player, Big G? Because it sounds like you willing to trade Darius Garland.
There's a few guys.
Evan Mobley is untouchable.
I don't know.
Evan Mobley's untouchable.
I don't know.
I guarantee you Evan Mobley's untouchable.
So there's some teams that's going to break up some franchises. And I think one of them got to be Milwaukee. But you're not getting Giannis from Milwaukee. Why you want old Chris Middleton or Drew Holiday? You don't want them. Carl Anthony Towns.
I would say he the face of Minnesota, but they got Ant-Man.
New Orleans is gonna break it up.
I think Ant-Man, but I wouldn't trade. We could maybe start talking about Darius Garland for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
That might move the needle. You get you a true 3. You let Donovan Mitchell run more lead guard.
Yeah.
Because he got 13 assists in the Game 2 win against the Knicks.
Yeah.
So he's capable. But I think the Cavs are sold on Garland because Garland wants to be here. Claude said that the Cavs won't win again to Bronny come here and Bron come back.
Claude, that's a hot take, man. That's a hot take, Claude. We feel you. But Tate, even the Brooklyn Nets, that's got a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces going on over there. I don't know if they're going to sign everybody.
Brooklyn, what you talking about? They would have to do a sign and trade. But would they want Darius Garland? You could. Yeah, Ingram does move the needle, Ma. You're right about that.
Yeah.
You could give me from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You could give me Mikal Bridges. And, I know people are down on him, but the talent's still there. Give me Ben Simmons.
Yeah. to come in and be a defensive threat and take pressure off of Donovan, bringing the ball up and setting up the offense, and can average 10, 12, and 10. I'm cool with it.
If you traded Jared Allen, and if you traded Jared Allen and Darius Garland for Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons, now you got Mobley. Look at the versatility with Mobley. Ben Simmons, if he gets his mind right, comes to play. That's the risk you take. You always gamble high upside.
Yep.
You got Mitchell in the backcourt with Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
I mean, you kind of Mikal Bridges is a 3-and-D guy. I don't know who we put at the 3. Do we still rolling with? We still got LeVert on the bench.
Yeah, I was talking about LeVert to start lineup.
We talking about getting Dylan Brooks. I mean, I could see that team impacting some things, but I don't think the Cavs trade Darius Garland. I think the only one out the core 4 that's on the block potentially is Jared Allen.
Yeah, all right,
and that's because of his poor performance in the playoffs. He talking about he going to sunbathe and stuff. I know they got their butts whooped.
Yeah,
4 games to 1. You
put a video out on the Cavs channel for sure.
Yeah, made Mitchell Robinson look like the second coming of Bill Russell, just owning the boards and blocking shots and bullying cats.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's my take on it. But yeah, we can get ready to wrap up, but we just need to real quick, probably take about 3 minutes to talk about what improvements can Donovan Mitchell make going into next year. You go ahead and take it first. Now I'll take the second part of it about what parts of his game or what can Mitchell do to improve going into next year.
I think Donovan Mitchell, number one, has to gel with his teammates. And his teammates have to be able to trust the fact that you're the alpha male in the room and you got to push the envelope. Because I think there was some jockeying for position for the alpha male in the room for the Cavs. If Donovan Mitchell's our franchise and our flagship and we're planting and moving ahead as a Cavs franchise, you got to have the confidence of the guys you're playing with. And I think that went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it's time for Donovan Mitchell, for lack of better words, you got to grow up in Cleveland. You got to become the alpha male in the room that tells the rest of the guys, jump on the ship and ride with me. That's my number one aspect for Donovan Mitchell, Tate. I got a couple other small ones, but I'm interested to see what you got to say moving forward, what Mitchell needs to do.
Well, I'm going to ask you this, Big G. If it wasn't him, who was it? All the other guys is young. Garland, Mobley, Allen. Young, and I don't want to call any athlete soft, but they're young with a demeanor that's not conducive to leadership yet.
Correct. But I've seen games.
If not Donovan Mitchell, who though?
Right. Well, I've seen games where Garland carried the flagship. I even seen a few games where Mobley carried the flagship. And I was like, wait a minute.
But because they had good games, not because they was out there, taking over, demanding the ball, telling teammates where to be. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's that guy. He's the alpha in the room. He's got to do it. That's what he got to do. Yeah. He got to do it.
Yeah.
It don't come down to, he's not that guy. He is that guy for Cleveland. Those guys look up to Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
But he just got to do it. You got to put the team on his back, and you got to win playoff series.
Yeah. Correct. Because that's what defines greatness.
Without a
doubt. Yeah, that's what defines
greatness. I agree. So far as improvement, he shot a career high from 3-point range, career high in scoring. I think with Mobley coming to his own next year, I think Mobley goes to like 14-9. He got to be around 20 and 10 or 11. So that's going to limit some of the shots from Mitchell and Garland. So Mitchell can become more of a playmaker. His assists were at 4.4. Get that up to 6.
Yeah.
Instead of averaging 28 and 4, maybe average 25 and 6. Because you gotta get Mobley the ball. He's gonna be an integral part of the offense.
For sure.
I think y'all learn to run some pick and roll with him and Evan Mobley. Put Mobley at the high post because he's a great passer. Have Mitchell and Garland cutting and running the baseline and spotting up for open shots.
Yeah.
So I think those, and then just the defensive intensity.
Yeah.
He played better in Cleveland this year than he ever played in Utah.
Agreed.
So he gave the effort, but his goal should be to try and be one of the elite 2-guard defenders in the league.
Yeah. Make first team all defense.
That's a lot for somebody that never did it. But if you get mentioned, if you make third team all defense, maybe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that jump right there on the defensive end, couple more playmaking. What's Great One saying?
He thinks that Mobley will do everything except shoot the three.
Yeah, and that's what he has to do is work on his three ball. Put on about 15, 20 pounds and come ready to play. But I think he's a hard-working kid. He just is mild-mannered and passive, which, you know, I would love with his skill set, his size and stuff, if he had a KG mentality.
Yeah.
But that ain't for everybody, though.
Right. Great comparison of a leader of men that's a dog in the locker room.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Cleveland is lacking. That guy don't have to be their best player. But, I mean, because KG was on his downside in Boston, but he still was. I mean, he shared with Ray Allen and Paul Pierce. Ray Allen and Paul Pierce both probably averaged more points.
Yeah.
But we know who the heart and soul of that team was.
KG.
It's kind of like Draymond Green for Golden State.
Yeah. They're not going to State without Green.
Right. We need that guy.
Yeah.
We don't need a more talented player. We don't need somebody. We could use a few people that can shoot the three better. But we really need that guy that's going to lead the locker room, that's going to police the locker room. I mean, why do you think Pat Riley and Spoelstra keep Udonis Haslem around till he just retired?
Right. A leader of men, the alpha male in the locker room.
Right. So those are the things I think Donovan Mitchell should try and improve on this offseason. And like I say, from Kobe Allen's perspective, I think JB and Jerry Allen are both on the clock.
On the clock, baby.
Because your core is Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, and not necessarily in that order. Right now it's Mitchell, Garland, Mobley, but in another year or two, it's going to be Mobley, Mitchell, Garland.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
Agreed.
So that's my take on it, man. You can go ahead. You got anything to say or take us home, man?
Yeah, let's do this. We're going to hit this out with the party shots. You know how I do, man. Tate, I just want to thank everybody that joined us in the live chat. And definitely check us out on the Fans First Sports Network for That's Rather Cavaliers podcast, Cleveland Cavaliers. Please like and subscribe for any of those channels and listen to us on Spotify. Listen to us on iHeartRadio. Listen to us on Google Podcasts. Listen to us to Stitcher and Amazon Music. We are available on all podcasts and all listening podcasts across the board because we're on the Fans First Sports Network. So we rocking all day and night with the Fans First. Hey, Tate, you got anything left to say?
Yeah, Big G. Just want to let the people know that are watching right now. You can check us out on the Know It Alls channel. That's Rather Cavaliers Show on the Know It Alls channel. Like and subscribe there. You can, like I said, this will be available on all the platforms. Big G just said in about 15, 20 minutes. So for all the audio listeners. But yeah, I mean, we appreciate everybody that joins us in the live chat. We have a lot of carryover viewers and stuff like that, Big G, the people we see on a regular basis on all the shows, this show,
sure. Yeah, the
homies on the Steel Curtain Network,
yes sir,
the Know It Alls, and we appreciate all of you. Claude, Great 103, Mod, and my favorite, Afton, we really appreciate the support. E-Maw, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, that's all I got, Big G, man. So, go ahead. Oh, I want to tell the people our next breakdown, and hopefully BP will be back with us. Our next breakdown will be on Darius Garland.
Yeah.
And that'll just, this is Friday. That may be Monday when we all can work it out to get together, but it's coming up soon. We're doing real good, Big G, on the audio side and the downloads and stuff.
Yeah.
We love you too, Afton. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
But I was saying, what was I saying?
How well we're doing on the audio side of the podcast.
We got a lot of downloads. We want everybody that listens to us, man, just check us out, man, on that download on the audio side, and just follow the show. Give us a 5-star rating. We really appreciate it. I mean, we've been around for a while collectively. Me, Big G, and Mod. If you know the Know It All crew, you know B Dirt, you know Pay, you know BP. So I mean, that's our crew. Rock with us. We trying just to come up in this podcast game and make something on all these different broadcasts. B Dirt has you like the Cincinnati Bengals. B Dirt has a show. He's part of the unofficial Bingo channel. He has his own show on there called Running Through the Jungle. Pay is part of the Bear Claw broadcast, Chicago Bears broadcast on the, and all these things are all these shows are on the Fan First Sports Network. Let's not forget about that. Me and Big G are part of the Steelers, Steel Curtain Network with Bad, Jeff Hardman, Dave Schofield, Shannon White, all those guys. A lot of Steelers fans here. You guys know them guys. And Mod has his own thing, DC4L, Dallas Cowboy Global Cast. Check it out. Tell your Cowboy fans about it. But even if you don't like those teams, you like us, and we always have fun, and we talk, and we chopping it up. So just give us your support. And the support we are getting now, we appreciate it. And I'm out, Big G. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, thanks again for all of our listeners. Thank you again for supporting the show. And for the Fans First Sports Network, that's rather Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers podcast. I'm your boy, Big G, my man Tate, and my man BP. Rock with us and holla at us. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks. Cleveland rocks.